Pedro said hold on, and then they started. So that sums up how this race might go. Well, we have the sprint and the feature race today here in COTA. We have a one-shot quali for the sprint. It'll be a 14-lap sprint with a required pit stop, followed by a short qualifying session and a 35% race, whatever that may be. Oh, apparently Dr. B wants me to join the comms channel.
Idiot of the day goes to Toasty Oven Bread.
Ooh, that's embarrassing. Here is the qualifying session. I don't know exactly how this works. I've never commentated a one-shot quali, so we'll see how this goes. Looks like offline is going to be on the top of the board right now. Killiswag P2, Iceman P3. Capex moves up into P3. Iceman down to P4. Gory Frog P5. Kevito P6. Pedro P7. Dr. B P8. Oh, there's going to be a little bit of a switch up. Capex P2. Iceman P2 now. Offline Kid still leading. We are watching him. Iceman P2, Killiswag P3, Capex P4, Leaky and Kevito swapping P6. Leaky falls down the order to P8. Leaky up to 2! Offline Kid still leading the qualifying session. We are watching him right now. Leaky P2, Iceman P3, Killiswag P4, Capex P5, Kevito P6, Gory Frog P7, Pedro P8, Heli P10, Zed P10, Saucy P11, Shasty P12, Dr. B 13th, Acosta 14th. Offline Kids take the fastest sector 2. Killiswag still in second. Leaky third. Iceman in P4. Capex P5. Pedro P6. And now he falls down to P7. Kevito up to 6th. I'm trying to go all over the place, but it is kind of difficult because everybody keeps swapping. Offline Kids is still on the top of the leaderboard right now. Killiswag P2. Iceman P3. Iceman up to 2. Killiswag up to 2. But across the line is Offline Kids. Then Killiswag, Iceman, Pedro, Kevito, Gory Frog. Top 6. Then Saucy P7, Heli P8, Zed P9, B P10, Chasty P11, Acosta P12, Ben Arnold 13th, and our one disqualification is Capex. He must have invalidated his lap. Oh, Leaky 2, Leaky 15th. So it'll be Offline Kids all in pole position. Killiswag will be in the second row with him. Iceman in the first row, sorry. Iceman on the second row, Pedro in P4, Kevito P5, Gory Frog P6, Saucy P7, Heli P8, Zed P10. How is your top 10? Yeah, I really didn't know how to commentate that. Sorry if that was all over the place. That's my first time ever having to commentate a one-shot quali. Hopefully it was okay. I tried my best. Worked with what I could. Should I share this stream?
Yeah, man.
That might be a smart idea. Copy link. I'm sure somebody else will as I'm sending it. But well, we have this little break. Let's talk about the championship standings. Offline Kid currently in the lead by 24 whole points. Currently the most winningest driver this season. Fun fact, he has scored points in 10 out of 11 races that he's raced in. Oh. Don't worry, Dr. B, I gotcha. Here we have the grid for the sprint. It will be Offline Kids on that pole position. We've seen him on pole time more times than I could count. I mean, I don't even... 8 times! So this is his 9th time starting on pole. I don't know if sprints count or not. 8 or 9th time. I don't know. Then, Killiswag at P2, the Alpine driver. He'll be looking to get a great start. Iceman in P3. He's had a little bit of struggle the past couple of races. We'll hope to see him do something great. Pedro P4, very fast driver. Happy to see him in the top 5. Then Kevito P5, Gory Frog in P6. He'll be trying to fight for the championship. A lot of points on the table for both Offline and Gory. Saucy in P7. Heli P8. Zed P9. Fun fact, 1 through 8 are all on completely different teams. I goes Kick, Alpine, Aston, Williams, Red Bull, McLaren, V-Carb, Ferrari. Then Formula Z is in 9th as he gets reset to grid, as we're talking about him. Dr. B is P10, Shiesty P11, Acosta P12, Ben Arnold P13. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Same with Capex, Leaky, and Hicks, all of them very fast drivers. 13th through 16th, respectively. Here is our pole sitter lining up in his grid spot, taking it very slowly so that he doesn't disqualify himself like poor Zed back there, so that he can start on warm tires. Looks like he nailed that spot. Killiswag lining up right next to him. The Alpine driver will have the inside. Will make for some exciting racing. Iceman, Hedro, Cavito, top 5 once again. Ben Arnold, Saucy, Zed all going to be starting on the colder tires as they fail to line up in their grid spot. Same with Hicks in the back. Here we go, though. For the first time tonight, we have the grid, and it's going to be 5 red lights here in COTA, And away we go racing. It'll be Offline Kids. Oh, that really delayed. I got unlucky with that. Offline Kids on the pole position. Killiswag P2. Offline getting a great start. Just going to leave everybody in the dust. Iceman trying to go around the outside of the Alpine. Doesn't quite have the grip as he gets bumped in the back. Kevino up to 5th. Very good start for the Red Bull driver. Ben Arnold up into 8th off the start. From P13, I think, or P12. What an amazing start for the Ferrari Reserve here in COTA. Dr. 10th, Shiesty 11th, Capex in P12. Very, very tight between these drivers. Leaky going to be trying to get by. Here is Capex trying to go around the outside of the Williams driver of Shiesty, and he's going to get it done very, very cleanly as they head through turn 11, but he's going to go wide. He's going to make contact with Leaky. He's not going to get that move done. I called it way too early. Here's Saucy in the V-Carb. He's going to go on a move for Kevino. He gets it done down the inside. Can he make it stick it, though? Still side by side, but that is Kevino who has the better pace. Going to be able to get ahead. But here, Saucy going side by side again. We watched Pedro go have a little bit of a moment of his own. Kevino sliding in front. Leaky and Shiesty in the back fighting. Once again, Kevino and Saucy side by side racing in this third sector. They've been battling for this final 5th position in the top 5. That's Saucy going wide. Kevino getting his position once again. Are they going to keep fighting? I don't know. Yes, they are. Saucy trying to go down the inside once again. Kevino goes defensive. Saucy in the V-Carb still trying to make this move happen. It's not going to make it higher, though. That is Ben Arnold on the inside of Gory Frog. He is going to get the slipstream from the V-Carb. That is Ben Arnold fighting for the 7th place. Gory Frog also fighting. He needs the championship points, but Ben Arnold would get the driver of the day for sure here in the sprint if he can keep moving up the order like he has been. What a beautiful lap run from everybody. No big incidents that I know of. Here's Ben Arnold. He gets by Gory Frog. Up into 7th, the Ferrari driver on an absolutely heater of a sprint. Up 6 positions, same with Leaky as he gets by Capex. That is him, Capex, fighting Dr. B. They're side by side as they head down this Sector 2, head into Sector 3. Capex on the inside, moving up ahead. Heli tries to follow. Dr. B is going to stay ahead, though, has the inside, going to have the better grip through the Sector 3 S's, and he is going to stay ahead. Killiswag moved into the lead, and I completely missed it. Killiswag leads now. Offline Kids P2, Iceman P3, Pedro P4, Saucy P5. Here are the tires. Offline on the softs, Killa on the mediums. 2 completely different strategies for the Kick and the Alpine. This will be interesting to see how they play. Saucy and Pedro side by side through the first corner. Saucy is going to hold that P4 now. Back to the front though, Offline Kids in 2nd place on the softs. Very, very interesting that he is not trying to use those softs to his advantage. He should be able to be storming ahead, but he might be struggling compared to the alternate strategy. Ben Arnold down the inside of Kevino. No contact made. That is the yellow flags out for Acosta in the back. Ben Arnold up into 6th, storming his way up the grid. And now we're going to watch Pedro and Saucy side by side. Pedro gets by. Ben Arnold's going to follow him. Down the inside, Ben Arnold trying to claim this 5th position. There he goes. Up into 5th place. The Ferrari driver having a fantastic sprint race so far. I have no water left. Someone remind me to fill my water when we switch to qualifying for the race. Leaky is sitting in this little bit of a gap here. there's a long DRS train that includes Pedro, Ben Arnold, as Killiswag and Offline Kids fighting again. Killiswag still going to be holding the pace. As I was saying, there's a long DRS train that includes Ben Arnold, Pedro, Saucy, Kevito as he gets racing with Leaky, Gory, Capex, Dr. B, Heli, and Hix. This is P5 to P13 all in this long train. Right now, Killiswag is doing a fantastic job of leading this sprint. We'll have to see if Offline Kids' different strategy works out, though. He is on the softs, the only soft runners in the top 5 right now. We'll have to see how that plays out. He will technically have an undercut compared to Killiswag. Dr. B to 10th place as he gets by Capex. Be trying to find the DRS of Gory soon. Otherwise, Capex is going to be looking to just immediately re-overtake. Dr. B is having a drive right now. Oops. He is even with his qualifying position. Gory Frog coming into the pits. And that is Formula Z with our first time penalty of 3 seconds. Offline Kids still holding this P2. Iceman struggling to be within a second of Offline. But he is currently sitting comfortably in this final podium spot. But he will have to see if Ben Arnold and Pedro will start to push and try to catch up to him. Because I'm sure both of them would love an opportunity at the top 3. Offline Kids might not have the DRS. He does not. Offline Kids does not have the DRS. Iceman does, so that will help the Aston Martin. But Offline Kids is going to keep falling away from Killiswag. Has Offline Kids finally met his match here in Not Fast But Furious? Capex, he has spun, I think. He gets going, but he's going to drop down to 12th. Dr. B gets a free position because of that. One more, and he puts himself in the points. I think, if they're using the F1 sprint. Points. Offline and Ben Arnold, Saucy all pit. Offline Kids on the softs, pulling in and putting on a new set of mediums. If you don't mind me, I'm going to try to figure out what their point system is. Does not save for the sprint. Race has settled down a little bit as we approach the halfway point. Killiswag still leading this. Iceman into P2, Pedro P3, Leaky P4, Kevito P5, Doctor P6, Heli P7, Hix P8. P9 is Offline Kids, and Zed P10. Leaky behind Pedro as they head through Sector 3. Mr. Leaky might be trying to do something to put himself on the last podium spot. That P3, I'm sure, looks very appetizing as Iceman pulls into the pits to do an undercut to Killa. Might work out in his favor. We'll have to see exactly how all of that plays out. He comes out of his pit box. We're going to jump to offline. Where does Iceman come out compared to offline? They were pretty close before offline pit. About 3 seconds is the gap. 2.7 right now. 3.1, 3.2 it looks like. 3.3 around that area. Shiesty and Hallie both pit. Leaky still doing a great job of holding pace with Pedro and P3 right now. And Arnold could be looking for an overtake here soon, as Leaky gets by Pedro in the DRS straight of Sector 2. Very clean move for the Haas. Will benefit his race greatly. Ben Arnold gets by Zed in the exact same straight, using that DRS to his advantage. Leaky putting on the afterburners, already making a second gap to Pedro. This Haas driver is holding nothing back. As the leader pits, Swag comes in off of his mediums. Here's Dr. B's story. Started 10th, now 5. 6 laps on the tires as he's going to pull into the pits. It is Leaky who now leads the race. Iceman gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to cost him. Doctor pits. Kevito pits. Already said Doctor, but I'll say him again. Doctor is going to come out P11 in front of Gory Frog. Not ahead of Gory Frog, the other McLaren, Capex. It is Leaky who leads right now. Swag out on the softs. He is behind Hix. The gap between him and Offline Kids is only 2 seconds though. That is Swag up to 4th. Now on the hunt for the Kick Sauber driver. 1.9 separates them. Swag on the softs. That is Offline on the mediums. These two will be battling it out for the sprint win in Texas. Hix trying to stick to the back, trying to get himself to help. Tried to jump to Ben Arnold there, but apparently hit the wrong button. He is all over the back of Iceman. Ben Arnold, the Ferrari reserve, making moves on the Aston Martin as he's going to get ahead side by side in the 3rd sector, giving Iceman all the space he needs to get ahead. Iceman P6, Ben Arnold P7. As Pedro comes into the pits off of the 8-lap old mediums. Leaky still holding pace up in 1st though. It is 1.2 between Swag and Offline Kids. Pedro on the softs. Comes out P9 ahead of Kevito. Ben Arnold still trailing behind Iceman. Iceman theoretically on the better tires, but Ben Arnold has been having one hell of a sprint today. So I'm sure that he'd love to continue making moves and moving up the order, trying to put himself in the top 5, which could turn into a podium once Leaky and Hix pit. The DRS opens for Ben Arnold. He's going to try for the move here again, and he gets by Iceman, not able to put up any defense. That is Ben Arnold moving into 5th. Swag and Offline Kids. This is essentially for the lead of the race. Leaky on the old tires has yet to pit. Will he come in this lap? Does not look like it. Yes, it is. Never mind. Leaky into the pits off of the lead. This is Swag versus Offline Kids. This is for the lead of the race. Offline Kids inherits it. Leaky into the pits. He will be putting on a new fresh of softs. Where will the Haas driver come out? Hix also pits. and Zed. Ben Arnold gets up to P3, Iceman P4, Softy P5. Pedro takes the fastest Sector 3. Little bit of position swapping as people are coming in and out of the pits. Down the order, it is Pedro P7, Kevito P8, Gory Frog P9, Doctor P10, Capex P11, Hex P12, as Gory Frog takes up a 3-second time penalty. And so will Formula Z. Killer Swags has a clean move, and he now leads this race once again. Killer Swag having a phenomenal sprint, but the Offline Kids isn't happy about that. He's trying to stick it down the inside. Killa has a little bit of a snap coming out of that corner, but is still going to be ahead of Offline. Nothing the Sauber driver can do as he watches the lead of the race go away from the grasp of his hands. Doctor moving up to 9th. The Sauber driver having a beautiful day here in COTA as he is now looking to get ahead of Kevito. 1.5 of the gap. Offline Kids trying to go down the inside, and he makes the move very cleanly. No contact made between the Sauber and the Alpine. Offline Kids now leading. I think that's Leaky who will take the fastest Sector 3. Hix down the grid now moves up to 11th as he gets by Capex. Tries to go for it on Gory Frog, but does fail. Fighting with Capex still in that first corner. And Capex is spun for the second time today. That McLaren driver not having a great day as Doctor gets a 3-second time penalty. Here's Killa Swag. We saw this move made last lap, and it's the exact same story. Killa Swag gets ahead. There's going to be a little bit of contact between the Sauber and the Alpine. Offline tries to stick it down the inside of the Sector 3. More contact made between the leaders. Offline still trying to stick it around. It turns to the outside. He sticks a wing in there. He makes the space for himself. Now it turns to the inside. The Sauber and the Alpine driver. This is head-to-head for the lead of this race. But it's Killa Swag who has the better pace as he runs off track. Does the DRS switch things, though? It'll be Offline Kids with it. He's going to be rapidly approaching the Alpine. We saw him make a move last lap, and he's going to do it again down the inside of the Alpine into turn 1. But the switchback, Killa, trying to stick it. He puts a wing in there. He makes the room for himself. The Alpine driver cannot stick it completely low. That is Offline Kids leading the Grand Prix once again. These two battling it out for the sprint win. This makes me very excited for the race. Ben Arnold taking a 3-second time penalty. We'll currently lose him a position to Leaky. Leaky has been working his way up the grid ever since he put on his softs. That is Helly taking up a 3-second as well. The DRS is open once again. Killa Swag. We've seen him make this move 2 laps in a row. Does he make it 3? No, he does not. That is Offline Kids sticking around the outside. I don't think the softs are doing it for Killa Swag as they are slowly starting to wear. He is now on the inside. Offline Kids quickly ticking the inside as the outside turns into it. That is Offline Kids leading the race, the sprint here in COTA. He has been doing a fantastic job of showing his dominance. He is telling Killa Swag why he is the current championship leader. Capex pits on to soft, 16th place. Killa now has the DRS. We saw Offline Kids go down the inside of turn 1. He's going to go defensive. Nothing that Killa Swag can do. 2 laps remaining in the sprint. Zed leaving the session. Unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. Offline Kids showing so much pace. He is going to be trying to break the DRS shortly off of Killa. That will put him in an even better position. As Doctor gets by Gory Frog, moves himself into ninth. Hicks trying to follow through on the softs. Can he do it? The McLaren driver not wanting to lose this position as Hicks takes a 3-second penalty. Doctor's going to be happy about that, as right now he will keep his 9th place. As I think that is Capex spinning again. Or maybe that was Gory. That was one of the McLarens. Offline Kids, 7 laps on the mediums, Killa Swag 5 laps on the softs. You tell me which tires are worse, but if I had to guess, it's probably Killa's. He has been trying to fight for this position for a while. That's put some wear in his tires as long as natural dag. So Killa's tires are probably worse than Offline's. Ben Arnold trying to fight Leaky for that final podium spot, but with the 3 seconds, I don't know if it matters. Maybe Ben hoping and praying that Leaky does get a 3-second time penalty. It'll be Offline Kids who leads us into the final lap, though. The Sauber driver, who has shown so much pace here today, he took pole position by about 5/10. He could not lead the majority of the sprint, but now he has led the most crucial laps. Ben Arnold gets ahead of Leaky, trying to put a little bit of distance between him and the Haas. Don't know if it will do anything, though. Heading down Sector 2, this will be the final DRS zone that Killa Swag can really optimize. Does he have the battery to burn on the Sauber driver? That gap is quickly closing. We've seen them fight this corner several times before. This turn 12 turning into a battlefield for the lead of this race and potentially the win. It is Offline Kids who gets the better grip, though. He is going to continue leading as they head through the 3rd sector. Offline doing a great job of holding his line. Killa trying to take an alternate line, trying to do something, anything to get the lead. Capex takes the fastest lap with a 34.3. And that is Killa Swag going off wide on one of the final corners. And it will be Offline Kids, the championship leader, who will go from the pole to the sprint win here in COTA. Killa Swag P2, Leaky P3, Ben Arnold P4. Iceman Rules would take home a beautiful P5 for the Aston. Saucy will be taking home P7 as Pedro goes up into P6. Cavito taking home maybe the final points in the sprint for the Red Bull team. Hicks and Dr. B fighting through the final corner, but Doctor goes wide. It'll be P9 for Hicks, P10 for Doctor. Gory Frog in the McLaren trying to fight for the championship, does not put himself in the points here today. Gory taking 11th. Here is Helly rounding the final corner. He'll be taking 12th. Wu Shiesty, the Williams driver, in 13th. Costa in 14th as he crosses the line. And the final 2 drivers, Zed and Capex. I wonder if I have Zed added because I know that he got disconnected. Does not look like it. Zed across the line, then Capex. But it is Offline Kids who was the fastest man on track today, taking the sprint pole and the sprint win. I think Ben Arnold is my sprint driver of the day. P13 to P4. Unreal race for the Ferrari. Grid once again, Offline, P1, P2, Killa. Maybe Leaky is my driver of the day. Never mind, 15th to 3rd. Jesus, Leaky, beautiful drive. Ben Arnold P4, Iceman P5, Pedro P6, Saucy P7, Kevino P8, TX P9, Doctor P10, Gory P11, Halley P12, Shasty P13, Acosta 14th, Zed 15th, and Capex 16th with the fastest lap. Here is the race director. Pit stops, in case anybody was curious, and tires. Stay tuned, as we will have a short qualifying session followed by a 35% race for COTA. I am Toasty Evan Brad. I'm going to go fill up my water and use the restroom while I have this break. I apologize for the delay. Qualifying has officially started for the Grand Prix. It is Rusheisty out first. Mr. Williams himself. Okay, Shosty letting people by. I think it will be Acosta to be starting his lap first. Then Capex. Well, let's go on board with Capex. How about that, huh? Get a nice little graphic here for that. There we go. Capex into the first turn. A little bit sloppy. On a lap. I don't think so. I'm going off of him. Should have just followed Acosta. Here's Acosta. Won't have as much data out of him as you would other people, but that's okay. As he heads into the second sector. Uriso. Hello, Doctor. Thank you, thank you. Ben Arnold going fastest in the second sector. Or the first sector, sorry. Costa, 37.9 in sector 2. On board with Ben Arnold right now. He moved his way up from P13 to P4 in the sprint. We'll be looking to see if he can do something very clean here, as he's going to invalidate his lap. I wondered when he went and cut that corner a little short. Oops, sorry. It is Acosta who will top the timing board with a 35.7. Leaky was the final podium spot in the sprint. Wusheisty 35.6, then Halley 34.5 for the provisional pole right now. Leaky, the driver of the day in the sprint, 31.9 for the Haas driver. Beautiful time, as Gavita goes 33.1. Gives a Ferrari driver a little bit of a slipstream as Leaky pulls off. Capex 204.6. Here's Pedro. Is he on a lap? Very much looks like it. Burning down Sector 2, near straight. Heavy braking into turn 12, cutting as much as he can. Heading into the Sector 3, a little less area. Maybe it looks more like a 3. See what I mean? Or am I just getting crazy? Killiswag 132.1. Iceman 31.